We're gonna start like probably imminently.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Alrighty. I'm gonna.
Alrighty.
Oh yeah.
I am also gonna click the button so I have the context.
Also, Crow, I'm streaming this to the Fic Read or to the Will Homestuck server, so you can keep up with it. Okay, so what we agree, I'm narrating. You're doing.
I'll do Aranea.
And Crow, do you want to do Porum?
Yeah, well, I'll save Porum stuff for later. Right now, I'm just really into this cheeseburger right now, so y'all can take over.
Well,
yeah, no, we have
we're
the
gonna
whole
do Porum
Aranea
after
round to
Aranea's
get
through.
through.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You leave Matuna's hive after sunset, and one final game of Transportalization Oval 2. Heart once again a unique kind of light and heavy at once. That's 2 friends on your roster now, provided you've been winning. These games are a little more linear than our source material, so if you would be so kind, please be winning. You ponder the advice you gave Matuna, and it is true. All you can do is keep moving forward, getting through it the way you always have. For all that's changed, for all your current uncertainty, it is still friendship that keeps your stalwart blood pusher pushing. Normal people in your position might have questions. How did I get here? Why isn't anyone killing me? Where'd that other moon go? This is not my beautiful wife. But you're totally happy with your current ignorance. On the friend prowl, no need to occupy yourself with itchy, unpleasant questions about your existence. Simply vibing. Every building around here is distinctive in shape. Here, a hive stem that gives the Leaning Tower of Pisa a run for its money. Here, one so low to the ground you would have to duck. But the rest of the subgrub is characterized by an almost haunting sameness. You're starting to worry you'll get lost. As you're pondering the pros and cons of Cuddleplum's urban planning, and definitely no other questions, you stumble upon the front steps of a library. You pause. Your spider sense is tingling. Friend sense? Oh, no, that's just called empathy. Maybe the power of noticing a person with your regular senses. Point is, there's a girl seated halfway up the steps, looking dejected. Now, technically, you could move on. You get the feeling that this planet must have tons of places to go with her problems, and they're probably leaps and bounds more well-equipped to help than you. You've got a to-do list. Besides, aren't you still looking for Aranea? But all cold logic aside, your heart couldn't take it. You gently climb the steps to her. Now that you're getting closer, you notice she's working. You watch as she taps the tip of her pencil against the page, willing good thoughts to come out. But just as you're beginning to figure out her deal, her head snaps up to regard you. Yeah. No, wait, this is okay. She's not glaring at you with any of the same animosity she sent boring into that notebook. She's rather welcoming, actually. Almost alarmingly so. She's wearing a smile that, in fact, makes you feel simultaneously enormously at ease and very, very sorry for taking up that emotional bandwidth.
It's okay.
No, yeah, of course it is. You don't have a right to her business anyway. If she says it's okay, then you're sure it's okay. I love her little
No. That was actually just fine. And a nice look on someone looking for friends. I just meant that my smile is okay. It isn't there to ignore myself. As you can see, I'm having a difficult night. There's something stormy brewing for you, too.
Remembering your general prior experiences with Blue Bloods, you take a step back. Here before us, it's harder to hear a threat in anything anyone says to you other than to find a half-pipe tall enough to get in the air. But still, it's better safe than dead.
You're uneasy. I think I should explain. I meant that there is something stormy brewing in your brain. I don't take any liberties intentionally, but I have a gift of powerful psychic empathy, and there are some components of it that can't be turned off. Emotion reading with you, for example, is a little like standing next to a particularly strong smell.
Gee, thanks, you say.
You're welcome. It wasn't an insult. Most of my casts aren't as powerful as I am. That's why I put an intentional check on my abilities. To quote our resident game girl, if this slurry can't nerf all of us, Homemade is fine.
What the fuck, Latula?
For example, I've never used them to take control without permission.
Without permission?
I won't use them on you. Please don't worry. Really, it's sort of a chore. Some people want to study what the experience is like. Even then, I have personal guidelines. I'll pilot you through admitting a crush if you really need it, but I won't help you cheat on a test. I'm Aranea Circuit for the pun inclined.
Huh. No side quest achievement pops up in the corner of your eye, but checking that off your mental to-do list was so satisfying.
You're a mean-ass friend, aren't you? Acquaintance, anyway. It was just one night. Hours. But I'm sure you two are very happy. Captain was raving about you in the group chat. Not that I should gossip or read a word of it.
Did Captor say anything about being his friend? Did that come through? Oh.
Yeah, it did.
That would be because of my presentation for the bi-weekly conference of the Rising Befriendus Historical Cultural Society.
This feels, for some reason, like the start of an unskippable monologue. No, seriously, she's really getting into it. You swallow the irrational need for validation about your most recent friendship and start using your save slots. Alright, okay. Alright, I know when to take a fucking hint.
Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure there's an achievement for clicking through this really quickly.
I believe there is.
I took a
Is
sneak
that what-
peek at the
Is that what you're
achievements
going to
beforehand.
do, or are we gonna do normally?
Let's do it normally. I can get my little achievements later. Well, I can get the
Yeah.
achievements after we actually read the nice writing out loud because it was written.
Yeah.
You know.
We're a selection of Befriendus' best and brightest, each of us tasked with weaving together and preserving an entirely new and necessary facet of Befriendus history and its current impacts, and have a full season. Once we've submitted our topic for approval, to pull together resources, create an argument, and add our stitch to the vast historical web. By add, I mean suggest, of course. One night, we may untangle the full true story of Befriendus and its upbringing, its depths fully plumbed, no moment left behind. But in the meantime, our work is in untangling it and passing it on to the next generation. For me, one after mine. In one season, you could be seeing a fully fledged Historia Great apprentice standing in front of you. Historia Great. I don't know how to say that. The conference matters so much.
She starts to look a little dejected again, like she'd been so busy explaining for your benefit that she'd forgotten.
She had all season to prepare, and she swoops in like this at the last minute.
Historia Gratiate. Oh, I get it. Cool. Thank you.
Appreciate. Okay, that makes more sense with what I could see. I can actually, hang on, I can scroll back to that. I like being able to scroll back. That's a thing that... Historia Gratiate. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I'm glad we sorted that out. Yeah, Leo's sprites are really good for this. They're... I really love her little bow tie, and I think, yeah, you can see her little school uniform skirt.
Aranea has a really good, like, Sunday convention vibe to her.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
That's good subliminal messaging for people to cosplay, by the way.
I figured you phrased it that way intentionally. Also, good closet cosplay. I think
Yeah,
Leo said
very.
that he recolored his school uniform for Aranea's sprites on Twitter. So, like, this is coming to you live from a school that exists. Okay. Who?
Empesi. Anil Empesi has scored consistently at the second top of almost every multiple choice exam, but her research topic barely scraped by. You can't just memorize your way through a thesis proposal. But even with her shoddy craftsmanship and poor work ethic, Pessy has always managed to pull off high ranks. And just because she doesn't color code her folders or ask to speak with mentors after the presentation is over, I mean, this is only between you and me, but school feeders call charge who? Rumors fly, and attractive ones stick. And so even with the other empaths in the room, and even with my fastidious documentation, we know what side the narrative will somehow take. Never let it be said that Befriendus doesn't have a penchant for favoritism. So I can't show up with the same project. And Pessy has graciously stumbled onto orchestrating the murder of my academic career while making it look like a suicide. Now you get the problem.
Gah. Aranea recoils, and you very quickly try to school your facial expression for her sake. You bet she gets that a lot.
My old thesis was that events currently categorized under the 11th century BHIC may fall as late as a couple sweeps after. For reasons shrouded in mystery to most scholars, very few documents about the disappearance of the SS Armageddon have ever survived. And Pessy's got her grab mitts on all the same facts I collected, I'm sure. It's not research know-how she's lacking. But that's fine. I'll come back in a few sweeps and whip up a through line out of whatever passionless proposal Pessy's left in her wake before rising into her celebrated career of rote, flavorless data collection and wondering why Wigglers think history is boring. That's if I establish myself academically first.
She will. She clearly has the skills to.
Thank you. It's just...
Aranea thwaps a hand uncharitably at the paper in her lap.
Every single option I put to paper dulls the second I jot it down. I know it's a challenge every writer faces. I promise I'm not being hard on myself about my own creativity. There's just nothing fresh. This is a situation that needs a catalyst, a spark, a real outsider's touch.
She's looking at you.
I've narrowed us down to two binary possibilities. On the one hand, we're in the heart of Cuddle Plum's historic downtown. There's a trove of mysteries to be mined right here, just from overturning a single brick. Besides, I would love to show you around. On the other hand, we're in the heart of Cuddle Plum's historic downtown. Museums of all kinds abound, and some would say there's something a little foolish in spurning knowledge when it's already been gathered and archived. We can play it safe and interpret our subject area thinly, or I can take you somewhere more real than the tourist experience. So what do you think? Fateful crossroads, branching paths, multiple choice. Should we start at the museum or around town?
You pass the baton back to Aranea. It's her project, right? You want to help, but this feels a little bit like enabling plagiarism.
Because beyond our jumping off point, I would do all the research and really did already get you down to two options. Two itsy bitsy changes to start off our trajectory through the entire body of Befriendus historical canon, and further narrowed when we realized neither path includes the vast history of colonization and civilization of the stars. It's really only that in your choice-based narrative, I ought to give you a choice.
Well, what the hey? You can't argue with that. She's really insistent. And academically honest. And just bubbling over with anxiety.
So, which one will it be?
Okay, I can't actually say from here, so let's go here. I can picture nothing more exciting in this life than a museum of entomology. Or, let's hit the town. History is everywhere. What do we think in chat? Do we want to Do we want to go in the museum or go explore the history of the great outdoors?
Vote now on your phones.
Can I get a GOG in the chat?
You may.
Nice.
I have to wait for the... You got a 1 for Minty. Hit the town for Uber.
For Uber. Beat it.
Beat it.
Nice.
Gog.
Museum. I flipped a coin and said 1. Alright, that's 3 to 1, I think. I don't think GOG counts as a vote. Museum.
I don't think it does either.
4 to 2. Alright, there are 18 of you. No, okay. Alright, looks like we're doing, we're gonna go to the Museum of Entomopology.
Alright.
Is that a real word? Or is that
probably.
a fun troll word?
I think it's a real word. Alright, entomopology.
You tell Aranea you can picture nothing more exciting in this life than the Museum of Entomopology. You say it with your soul. You say it with conviction. You convince yourself that your brain means it too.
Thank you for choosing. Onward we press. Museums are a font of pre-existing knowledge and interpretation. The works of all the historical greats, the memories of mythologized figures, and preserved powerful nobodies alike who lend us insight into Befriendus' surprisingly tumultuous past. There's a lot to explore. The mere recording of a story doesn't mean it's reached completion. Every artifact in every museum in the Intergalactic Empire carries secrets, and vast scores of those secrets remain uncracked until we find a way to peek into the past directly. Nobody has yet. You could call a museum a collection of the already celebrated, the deemed historical, because someone has already found and rescued them. The reinterpretatable, the Trollsop's fables of known time. We can decide if the ironclad was really ironclad, or in which quadrant the paladin and the partisan really were. Moments and players in a fast interconnected narrative are painstakingly restored from their original unbreakable formats, or preserved as artifacts submerged in saltwater tanks and presented to the public for informed re-examination, and other pieces of past still hidden behind the scenes, waiting to be rescued. So, which one will it be?
You fucking liberal. Also, hang on. Hang on. The ironclad, the paladin, and the partisan. Okay, I assume this will be relevant later. Also, I'm saying fucking liberal specifically because I grew up in a town that had, like, a bunch of historic preservation horse shit going on, and, I think I've told the story before, so I'll give it as abbreviated one as I can go. Gonna give myself away a little bit. The last wooden whaling ship left in the world, I think, that used to, like, go, like, actually hunt whales, was, like, you know, coming apart, and they decided to restore the ship by taking all of the parts of the ship off down to the keel, and then replacing the keel, and then building it with new wood, and then putting the original furnishings back on. They literally Ship of Theseus it. It was a real Ship of Theseus. It was stupid. And that's why I'm side-eyeing all of what Aranea just said. It's because I'm like, alright, you're preserving it. Okay, alright, I don't trust you. Wait.
Are we back at the same choice?
Yes.
Alright. Are we hitting the town now?
No, I hit
the
museum
game is
again.
working as intended. Oh, you hit museum again?
Yeah. Because we picked that one. Also just because I want to see how many times I can hit that before something happens. The museum? You'd like to hit the museum. You really don't trust yourself to cook up a history project outside of it when you barely understand the ground you're standing on. And besides, you're sort of worried about Aranea shrugging off her project on your account if you give her too much of a reason to play tour guide.
Thank you for being considerate, but it's me who's your host. And while we are working, I'm happy to provide a taste of our Befriendus hospitality, esteemed local traditions. You're a guest. Who knows? One night we may need an updated working model of on-planet interspecies diplomacy, so there's no clear advantage to the path more well-trodden. What do you think? That museum all other applicants have packed into, like moths to an artificial lamp as they cram in their haphazard conclusions, or the exploration waiting right under our noses?
God, alright, I'm gonna keep insisting that we stay at the museum because I am an asshole and I want to know.
Alright.
I can picture nothing more exciting in this life than a museum of entomology. I love that I'm like potentially like the 20th person alive to pronounce this word. No! You tell Aranea firmly that you're alright, you're having a really good time, and you would just love to see a good old-fashioned museum. You're starving for one, frankly. On all that you hold holy, there's nothing you'd like more than to bask in an overpriced gift shop. Knowledge is a fountain of gold, and commemorative shot glasses are $30.59 as a set, and you're begging Aranea to let you drink from either.
So, which one will it be?
Oh my god!
Wait, did you mouse over it before you clicked it? Janaya?
No! Yeah.
Well, shit, if it's that important to you.
All right.
Aranea bobs on the balls of her feet, and gestures with an open arm down the wide path in front of you.
Welcome to Cuddleplum. Cuddleplum offers a quintessential cross-section of our West Befriendus society and will be the center of our investigative study. And I think you're just the fresh perspective we need. What is before us as it falls on an alien Ganderbulbs?
It's very smooth, you say. Aranea seems delighted by your novel opinions.
It is! This book hive is the product of an architecturally competition in the 380th century of the reign of her impassioned conservation architect to build cull for the health and betterment of the population, cultural, pertaining to culture, a set of expected behaviors, norms, and traditions. Its grounds used to be a motley of poorly designed hiving, now relocated to the north side, and before that, any manner of pre-civilization site. A ceremonial mosh circle, a death sports arena, a burial ground. And after that, another book hive, but it was in need of a serious upgrade. Did you notice anything else?
You do notice something else, because it's got you rather distracted. At a picnic table with a troll 2 or 3 sweeps younger than Aranea is an adult, a large 9-foot-tall pearl necklace-wearing adult. She's a high-blood, wearing an indigo peplum and blindingly white slacks, and she has her hands on the curled fists of a bronze-clad child, moving their finger to follow words on a page. You notice this pair at exactly the same moment as Aranea asked her question, and ice shot through your veins. Aranea, of course, noticed.
No, don't worry. She's not hurting them, that is. Nor is she going to... Was that the concern? A fully qualified cult taker would never get and maintain their certification without being in complete control and awareness of their own strength. What you're watching is a phonics lesson. It's rare to see outings like this at such a high-level institution, but I admire the risks she's taking. Some say that exposing a cult troll to futures they won't live to realize is only going to make them miserable and remind them of where the grass seems greener, but a few groundbreaking cult takers disagree. Just because your charge won't have the lifespan to participate in the grand scope of academia doesn't mean they shouldn't know what's out there.
Aranea leans down to the child's eye level and waves hello. You... guess you should too? You wave as meekly as you can manage, halfway hiding behind her, but Aranea is already shuffling you along. The sidewalk takes a sharp turn sideways, and you pad along the street now, headed deeper into Cuddleplum's historic downtown as the adult and child shrink out of sight.
It's alright to ask questions.
It's just that where you come from, you begin... Culling has different connotations. Not that you don't like these ones seem very nice. Still, you have to wonder, why aren't they just learning from their Lucis?
At that age, it's like they were orphaned a little too soon. I didn't take much of a mental peek, but you seem so concerned. Anyway, they did have some kind of turmoil in their past.
Oof. You really did just ask why this kid doesn't have parents, didn't you?
The culling system exists to assist Befriendus' most vulnerable populations, pairing at-risk trolls with safe, nurturing homes and fulfilling lives. Cultural education, our first expository deep dive. Never be afraid of questions. Through the system, trolls in need are paired with cult takers, a caregiver trained and certified to provide a tender and protective environment. Cult taker cull pairs are usually situated in the same hive, though there are some exceptions, cases that are still being evaluated. Transitioning out of culling or in need of less support may only see an occasional visit. Those two have known each other for a long time, sweeps upon sweeps.
Your restless thoughts settle, tentatively. Okay. You don't like the image of a two-sweet-bull taking care of themselves either. Your heart is still racing out of sheer learned reflex, but you shake yourself out of it as well as you can. This is a new planet. Drop your preconceptions.
Unfortunately for our purpose, the culling system has been thoroughly documented and leaves little to explore. You and I were looking for discovery. But this is exactly the sort of thing I need. Often the things that blind us to discovery are our own night-to-night habits, our preconceptions. I travel down this street every night. It's stale to me. So ask me about anything here foreign to you. What assumptions have I made that can be overturned? What small facets of our environment make you wonder about their foundation?
You look around yourself with an anxious gulp, floundering.
You don't need to be so hard on yourself. Everything you're saying is valuable. I hadn't thought I would have an encounter with an alien like this for another guys, and even then it's the luck of the draw, so we're told. Even after going off planet, who knows if I would have encountered meaningful communicative life?
Wait a second, hold up. Befriendus study Alternians?
We do! We aren't an intergalactic empire for nothing, after all. I plan to keep our focus on planet, not to eschew the field of extraterrestrial studies. It's just that in this competition, you get extra points for primary sources.
Oh, come on. You just shoot yourself and raise an eyebrow.
It is exciting news for someone like yourself, yes?
You roll your eyes, remind yourself to be patient, and gesture a little more furiously. Hello, primary source? Aranea's eyebrows slowly raise further, first in tentative understanding, then in delight.
You would be willing to do that?
You so very much would. You know Earth like the back of your hand. You're all about Earth. Anthropological study of one right here, baby. Even better, you're used to explaining yourself to aliens. You came to class prepared.
In that case, we should get to work. My hive is probably a better setting for an interview, but it's a 10-minute walk. Are your strap pods feeling tired?
What? No. You assure Aranea that another 10 minutes on your feet is more than manageable. You leave out the miles upon miles you walked earlier today.
Right, this way then. Watch your step.
You arrive at Aranea's hive. She situates you in what you think must be a respite block, but which has very little emphasis as possible on sleeping. There's a Recupercoon in the corner, sure, but everything else is papers, books, and places to file them. Each portrait on the wall is identified by a little brass plaque in its corner, bearing a name and an inspirational quote. Lysentat Pathfire says wit is only half of discovery. One of the portraits is of a tiny little Aranea. Aww. A little tiny Aranea backed by a very large, very toothy spider. You glance around the hive in apprehension.
Is everything alright? Oh, you won't need to worry about her.
Haha, no, of course not. Aranea's mom is probably super cool. For some reason, you have this strong, really difficult to shake bad feeling about Ms. Circuit's Lucis. You're surprised at yourself, but you're trying to set aside your alien biases.
No, really. It's just you and me. She was removed a while ago.
Shit, excuse you for assuming. Removed, you ask? Aranea doesn't seem too thrilled with the question, but she does grin and bear it.
Nothing special. It was a neat farewell to a bit of a bad embarrassment. I put up with her whining until I was 4. Always hungry this, bloodthirsty that. She isn't particularly powerful. It wasn't that much to shut her out, and she can make do with Lucis meat. Anyway, she and I were both grateful to send her off to a better purpose. Sensible solutions.
A farm upstate, you figure, gently.
She serves a government position. Her impassioned conservation has established a symbiotic program to reinvent corpse management. Thankfully, for those of us with more primitive needs. Usai.
You wince in embarrassment and hurry the conversation forward. So, hey, you say, how has it been getting away from the embarrassment? She probably does really good on her Empire check-ins, right? Aranea smiles.
Oh no, I wasn't cold. Can you imagine? I'm 6 weeks old.
Right. Right, yes, you say. 6, the age of self-sufficiency. Aranea is starting to give you a look, so you clear your throat and move on. Hey, Aranea, what's that in your hands? You really wish you hadn't asked. Aranea lifts up what you can only assume is some kind of alien tape recorder, and your brain doesn't want to process what all the moving parts must feel like. You don't like that you've decided it has a nervous system. Aranea presses down a button in its middle, and it starts pulsating.
Can we start with a few questions? Tell the recording, for the record, what planet you're from.
Hello, you say. I'm an alien from Earth, of the solar system.
How long have you been here on before us?
2 days, you say. More or less. There was that quick jaunt to the moon. Wait, shit. Can we start over? Can Aranea strike that from the record?
I'll strike anything sensitive, don't worry. And what has your journey been like, spending these nights away from your home?
Oh, geez, away from your home? That's a lot longer. You hold up a finger to Aranea to ask her for patience while you do some quick mental math. 1, 2, 18. And you have to think about the space journey before that, of course.
It seems I've jumped ahead in this story. Why don't you, my alien friend, take the lead?
Aranea says, in a voice she must have learned from documentaries.
Start at the beginning.
The beginning. Huh. Your ship had just lost power. In some kind of freak electrical glitch, some accident, you lost control of navigation. You lost control of everything. And as your ship plummeted down, down towards the planet below, you thought you were going to die. You thought you were going to hit the ground full force, but somehow... But hang on, this isn't the beginning either. You remember the day you saw the advertisement, crumpling and pocketing the flyer, rolling up to recruit with adventure fluttering in your chest at the over-romanticized prospect of your entry-level spacefaring job. You remember the day you received the order, a position you loathed. You didn't recognize it at the time, but it was a beginning that made your eventual mutiny a natural conclusion. You got on a spaceship, anyway. That was the last you've seen of Earth. You remember waving it goodbye, watching the vastness of the ocean shrink to the size of a marble in the distance. It didn't make your planet feel small. It made everything feel absolutely enormous. You watched it twirl away beneath you, dreaming of the minute you would reunite with your loving wife. No, daughter? No, It's just... Hang on, you've got to hammer out the lore.
You don't remember it all, do you?
Panic makes itself known distantly, a discomfited flare in your gut. No, of course you do. It's just a hiccup. You remember the parts that matter. Aranea's voice takes on a honey-like quality. Soft. Sincere. You've really, really worried this girl, and she really, really wants to help.
You don't need to be afraid. Something bigger is hurting you, isn't it? I can feel it rolling around in there, clutching at the back of your mind. I can feel it sending its feelers forward, even as you try to shove it back behind lock and key. It's not going to be able to stay there forever. I can tell that one way or another, it is coming out. But I can help you bring it forward safely. This exercise will be scary, but it doesn't need to be damaging. I'm very well experienced in matters of the mind. Can I take a look?
Alright.
Huh, okay.
What are we doing?
We've got a yes and we've got a no. How are we feeling? Also, while we're waiting for chat to catch up, this song is very good. I know you can't hear it, Shania, but it's like... I don't know what the title is gonna be, but I predict it's gonna be something like lo-fi chill hop beats to relive trauma to, or something like that. Maybe not. Maybe that's a dumb joke.
Oh yeah, I have it on here. I just turned the music on a little bit. Alright.
We got anybody in chat. I believe Aranea's theme is called Spider Sprite. Okay, damn. Completely wrong. Cool. As I expected. Got a
Minty
yes for
says
Minty.
yes. Anyone
Yeah.
else have any opinions? Yes. That's 2 for yes.
I'm waggling my eyebrows.
Yeah.
Alright, okay, let's go with yes.
Sounds good.
It's been too many hours since you woke up half-drowned. Too long to be this negligent. You've been avoiding this long enough, but it's irresponsible to keep running. You have to face the bad thing eventually. You have to figure out what it is you can't remember. Aranea could really use that for the project anyway. She doesn't need any of the space travel, the Alternian lore, the friendships, but she does need somebody whose memory can be trusted. You have to be a reliable primary resource, and the last thing you want is seeing someone find out you're not. You can't leave holes in her research for your fear. But is she sure she doesn't want to put a hold on this for now? Come back to you tomorrow? She has a project to finish, and sleep to catch before her presentation, and maybe she could just pick something easier. There's not much moonlight left.
Don't worry. Consider everything completely under control.
Hold on, I can turn the music down.
In fact, with a little luck, I think we'll have exactly enough time. Fortunate occurrences, strokes of fate. For real, though.
You take a slow breath, let it out sharp, and nod. Alright. How are we gonna do this?
Ideally, you relax your mind. It's a prodigious gift, but it helps if you're not afraid of it. There's nothing to be afraid of. I'll only use it exactly how you ask, and you'll know what's happening every step of the way. I'm extending a small amount of control, the equivalent of a mental feeler, just to guide you along that process. Do your best to unwind. And then we reach back toward the deeper reaches of memory.
Yeah, that is relaxing. And this is fine. You're not even scary now. Thanks, miss.
What the fuck? Wake up, moron!
Hang on, in a second. You feel a sort of urgency to follow this instruction that has nothing to do with how well you know Aranea, and all the markings of a friendship. Of many. You slip out of consciousness. You come to in fits and starts, less like recovering from a fainting spell, and more like waking up from a long night of very weird, vivid dreams. You didn't have any dreams. Just that feeling of trying to cling on to them when you wake up, like you know they're not quite finished, or of spending your first minutes of consciousness expecting to be somewhere else before remembering you're lying alone on your bed. Those fever-like, dream-dizzy mornings when it takes 3 hits of the snooze button before you realize you were never awake. Regardless of wherever you were expecting to be, you are still in Aranea's hive. She's moved you to the couch. It's more of a couch-shaped nylon sack full of slime, but it's not bad. Kinda like a waterbed. You test sitting up. So far, so good. Your head feels hollow. Aranea's palm husk buzzes on the coffee table. You look around for her, but she seems to be out of the room. Maybe you can just bring it to her. Oh, fuck darn it, you're not bringing it to her, you're reading her messages. Like a snoop. We knew it would come to this, didn't we? Arachne's gambit started trolling Clement condescension. Nailed it. Guess she #jacked that Empress title pretty quickly. Alright, we got Amina.
Yeah. Hey, Crow.
I'm eating burger.
Okay, I'll do it.
Never mind.
Gloves! I've been reading this so long, there's moon dust caking up my gills just from sitting here. I'm already flushed them out once tonight. So I'm on the news. Did they pick a good photo? If yes, then why exactly should I give a fly, fish, and fuck? Disclaimer, only accepting reasons 20 words or less.
You look fine. You're wearing a dress. I wasn't gonna say anything, but you look fine, okay? It's the photo they put out right after your haircut.
You mean with the...
Your updated official portrait, yes.
Oh, shell, yes. And that's barely a dress anyways. Damn, Snorket, you had me thinking we had a PR emergency on our fronts blowing up my fin box like that. Crisis averted. Phew, I've never looked better.
Yes, I know. I should send you a framed goby. You know, like copy.
Hmm.
I have one. They've edited your crude gestures before you asked. But its presence on every news bulletin across the planet still does make you kind of notorious.
Yeah. You need anything, or...?
How are you settling in?
It's Picho. Quiet, rushed footsteps alert you to Aranea's entry into the room. You rapidly scroll back to their most recent messages, past increasingly blue text dotted with increasingly sparse fuchsia interjections, and place the palm husk back on the table. So, should I send someone by for the pic, or...?
I can have it ready by tonight. If you're lucky, and don't say you heard it from me, but I hear someone might have a source of solid gold frame in your honor.
shell, yes. You're the best, Morania. Ariadne's gambit is now idle. Fucking Greek. Ariadne's gambit. Actually, okay, wait, hang on. It's 6:41. I am going to need to wake up my partner so they can go to work in, like, a little bit.
Okay.
I think they need to leave by, like, 8. So I think I just, next time we come to a good stopping point, I just need to, like, take a break for a sec.
Okay.
Ariadne's gambit began trolling clamant condescension at 8:33.
Did anything strange happen while you were with our new acquaintance?
Yeah, we went to the moon?
Other than that, hello? Mina, I'm serious.
You good? With clear self-control, Aranea takes the palm husk and, without looking at the message she has been waiting quite a few minutes for, pockets it.
You're awake!
She must have known that the moment you woke up, too. So why the wait? Was she deliberately keeping you from embarrassing yourself?
I've never seen anything like that before. Not to worry, though. How do you feel? Is everything there that was there before?
You really don't feel like investigating that question at the moment. You say yes.
Can you stand up?
Aranea walks you through a series of exercises, all embarrassing and increasingly convoluted, to make sure your motor function is still online. You're not any more or less clumsy than you used to be. Finally, though, she seems satisfied enough to let you hold still. You clear your throat.
I can make a few educated guesses. Do you know what third-person omniscient is? Ordinarily, that's a clumsy but reassuring metaphor for how I walk through life, and those like me. My case is slightly unusual. I am, after all, the best of the best.
There's less heart in her words than there could be, but you smile weakly.
Those are what people who study telepathic and empathic dynamics refer to as passive abilities. Around you, that ability is almost 2 times stronger. Those passive abilities seem to be where my ability to interact with your psyche ends.
With your strong emotional stench, yes.
How does your species usually access the subconscious?
You think for a moment, then glance around Aranea's hive for a cartoon pocket watch. No dice.
I have an idea. I can control your thoughts. We ran into trouble before I was able to do so much as hold their hand. I can, however, act as a guide. Do you feel that discomfort at the back of your mind? Like an itch?
Are you allowed to say no?
I'm willing to guess it's what we need to venture into.
Aranea settles onto the couch beside you. She can't take out your thought's hand, you guess, but she does physically take yours.
You do have access to more than you think. Actually, a lot of the problem in there feels... Have you ever had a lucid dream? I think you may be able to take the reins in a similar way. I'm very familiar with with the mind. Even if I can't take the helm, I can illuminate which paths to follow. You'll just need to do the doing. Look at me. Good. Close your eyes. Now, follow that discomfort.
As you do, something spreads around your brain like a blanket. There is nothing touching your thoughts, not directly. Once you start to feel a bit woozy, and the sensation pulls back. You feel colder, but you follow her instructions. The discomfort does have a clear locus, a hard pit in your brain. You mentally tiptoe towards it. Aranea gives your hand a squeeze and says,
Go on. You're receiving false danger signals, but nothing bad is going to happen to you. I would not allow it.
You don't want to come at the unnerving thing like a battering ram, charge in and bust down the front door. You know it's your own memories, but you can't face it like that. Visualization is only getting you so far, but you tell yourself you're going to take the thing and creep around it. Wind your thoughts very gently along its edge, like, hey there, just passing by, and slip in through the side entrance. You trip off the mental equivalent of an unforeseen staircase.
I could have kept pushing, so I really hope you don't mind me jumping in. I felt it was fitting to take a quick break. This isn't working, is it?
But break. Not working, yes. Features of the hive seem to swim wherever you look. Your eyes can't settle on one place.
I thought so.
Aranea is casting these sideways glances at you, but the anxiety is not leaving. She can't seem to sit still through the break. Her feet keep fidgeting, shoes scuffing at the floor.
I think I have something easier. Can I try something one more time? Something easier. Binary choices once more, but seriously. Okay, I'm trying it.
This time, the comfort that winds itself around your brain is undeniable. It doesn't push. It doesn't, to your massive relief, change anything. It's not even in your brain at all. It's more like... it makes you wonder if this is what Aranea can feel?
You're close. Consider it a psychic two-way street. Still passive, mind you, but now you can follow along.
You can, actually. You feel how expertly Aranea weaves through her own brain, and you realize at once that it's almost exactly like having a map. So you follow it. Whatever Aranea does in her mind, sometimes demonstrating the steps many times over so that you can follow, you repeat. You repeat. You repeat. You repeat. You repeat. Your attention isn't on the mental map anymore, but it's there. It feels like the switch between learning to ride a bike and simply having the muscle memory to turn left without thinking. This isn't the memory you were looking for when you started. This is much more recent. This is something you didn't want at all. This is the moments before saltwater logged clothes, the word Befriendus before you heard it. It's not pronounced the way you expected. This is an anger in your gut. You were going to find... no. To tell? To reach? To dig? To mend? To break? No. You can tell that your response didn't land on her ears well, but you can't process past no. You need a minute. You take several minutes, as many as you need to stop your heart from exiting your chest. It's still sputtering hard against your sternum, at a rate more healthy for a baby bird than a grown or teenager-ish human. Aranea gives you time, rocking anxiously on her heels. She's made herself busy typing on her palm husk, here and there looking up at you to check in on you, and then waiting long enough that it doesn't look like she's totally talking about you. You let out a slow sigh to signal that you might be ready to speak, and Aranea looks up. And looking around her hive, you're not sure you can save this. She has a conference tomorrow, you begin gently. Aranea hears rejection, it's clear on her features.
You're right.
She reaches for the stack of papers she'd brought home from the book hive, taps them against the floor to neaten them, and pulls her ideas list to the front. Everything on it is crossed out.
And what would really help you reset is a way to forge forward, right? Edification, resiliency, distraction, if nothing else. There are a lot of suitable topics here. No reason to discard good work. Here's one on the fraught and complicated history of trade among our very first colonies, too resource-rich to believe they needed us.
It's nothing about her, you say gently, because she's a wonderful girl. It's not the mind powers, it's not her use of them. You know this isn't how they usually go. Don't go thinking it's about how she was kinda tangentially involved in one of the top 10 most horrifying experiences of your life, okay? You just can't stay here. Something terribly young and terribly sharp sets up camp in the shines of Aranea's eyes. She says of course. She makes sure you have a little water to drink and a snack bar for later, and she assures you she'll still get the project done with flying colors. But even as she walks you, are you sure you'll find a place to stay? To the door. Something tells you she's heard this story before. Damn.
Alright. I'll load back up to that save point.
Rewind noise.
Yeah.
Alright, okay, I'm gonna go wake up Rye, so I will
Okay, cool.
BRB. You guys have the floor, cheeseburger eaters.
Yeah. God damn. This is good. Whoever wrote Aranea's route. Oh no, Robin wrote Aranea's route. That's right.
Yeah.
You did a good job on this. It's real good. So yeah, that happened. Everyone to give Robin all the awards.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm
It is
thinking
really
to
good.
myself, I'm like, I never did quite try and find a I never did try and figure out how long Porum's route is. I don't think it's the equivalent. I don't think it's the equivalent length of Aranea's, but I do remember. I'm thinking to myself, "Wow, I've never written 20 pages plus of anything in my life." So you know what?
Yeah.
I'll take what I did in terms of the outcome.
So, for the thing is, like, I write a lot and I write fast, but like writing a script takes a lot longer than writing just straight prose because you have to like, first of all, you have to format it in a certain way, and that takes longer. But just like you have to be very conscientious of like what's being said, and like there's a certain economy of words that you don't get with like a novel, where you know you can write just like I've written 10,000 words of prose in a day. I can't do that with a script. It's just like it slows you down and it forces you to think about it, and you feel every page of writing it.
Yeah.
So, okay. So Aranea's volume is 11K and Porum's volume is 10. Okay, so Aranea's volume is approximately an hour and a half to read, probably, and Porum's volume is about a little less. That's good. That's what I figured. I figured they were probably about an hour to an hour and a half each. This is really good. I'm enjoying it so far. Right, all the programming cues. Right, of course. Just the script itself. Yeah, it's hard to figure out exactly. It's just really, I find it really interesting to see the Befriend trolls as, you know, their younger forms that are still on Befriendus and not playing Scrub or not like the Dream Bubble version. You know, we see a lot about them like when they're older, but we don't really know much about them from when they were young. So
Yeah. It's a lot of tasty lore to potentially
yeah,
do.
it is. It's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Ancestor lore, the thing that's like consistently neglected in Homestuck.
Concurrently agree. It's always fun to see the different ideas about how you can go. The best part is because nothing is established, just about every interpretation and idea is canon. I mean, there's a bunch of alts out there.
That's true, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like there's a lot of different possible interpretations of it, and the canon lore is pretty much non-existent.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting look into things and how they work. I just like a lot of the world building details that pop up in these things, like all of the little details in Aranea's hive and stuff.
Right.
It's really cool. Yeah, the canon lore is either non-existent or bad. Yeah, exactly. It's either just like not there, or it's a bunch of like racist horse shit. So pretty much not great either way.
Okay, I'm back.
We're back! Yay!
Some water. What's been going on in chat? Alien. This volume.
Yeah, Porum's volume is
Okay.
slightly shorter, but not by much. And we're talking about how bad the canon before and lore is.
Yeah, you're really digging for diamonds in the dog shit, huh?
Alright. So we're at the yes-no choice, right?
Yeah, so we're gonna say no this time.
No.
You redirect. It really, really is okay, you tell Aranea. You know what might help you calm down, though? Really, sincerely? A break. No, a story. You're just kinda stressed, and clearing your head seems like a really good idea. What was that story Aranea was getting at earlier? The Armageddon? Aranea is suspicious of the obvious deflection. She's a mind reader. You're not a very good liar. But she allows it. It's your choice-based narrative, you guess.
The Armageddon. Befriendus was in the advent of its interplanetary expansion, and it was ravenous. Her impassioned conservation would inherit an expansionist military force in its grubhood, grind it forcibly to stagnation, and be presented with a choice. Would that stagnation be an endless winter, waiting for the ground to thaw, then release the same undeveloped mass, or would it be a pupation? The forces that would become known as the Royal Befriend Off-World Fleet underwent a period of massive reform and subsequent upheaval, and some say even insurrection. There's no evidence to support that, of course. What there is evidence to support is a secession. The SS Armageddon, built in the 19th century BHIC, was a quad-psionic armed dreadnought tasked with the colonization of a more lethal era. Its crew were accustomed to a degree of brutality we shudder at now, but contemporary accounts agree post-conservation Befriends aren't the only ones shuddering. Historical context is key. One could fill an entire book hive with conflicting attempts to rack up its body count, and to dead its more grotesque stories, trophies taken, aliens grafted into ship walls just to see if they could.
Armageddon. Oh, Armageddon. Oh, I get it.
So when the ship dropped off the map, you have to understand it was something of a folk legend. Today we mourn the loss in passing, a subject for Riegler's first historical novels and romances doomed by their violent time. But a more rigid analysis of logs written before the vessel's disappearance reveals an atmosphere of dissent and distrust. What incomplete records we still have note the precise second mechanical failure set autopilot offline before the tragedy, but a journal log of not 10 minutes after the autopilot system's failure unveils a different story. The log is a humble, overlooked account from one of the ship's youngest engineers, but it's also the only primary source written while the ship's systems were failing. Picture this. You're in the midst of catastrophic failure. The sharp pink glare of alarms on the walls betray the simplest notion of doom, every mechanical reading offering an even worse story still. A captain or his bridge crew might be able to preserve denial. A humble engineer like our primary narrator, the journaler of the Armada Geddon's last written log wouldn't be so lucky. And yet, even with those mechanical readings that this quiet engineer knew meant banishment to outer space, unaided, their writing showed no sign of anxiety. Even I don't write 10 pages when I'm in a rush. Most notable of all, assumptions made about the time of the disappearance relative to the Befriend mainland are unfounded. No references are made to the conserve herself, but we're aware of it. One last FTL leap was made before the tragedy. Incoming communications to the ship after that last leap have been lost or destroyed. Though there's a historical consensus placing their exit from that leap on pre-conservation timeline, I argue it's unfounded.
Wow, so what's your theory? That they would rather fuck off and live out their days in space than bow to the new Empress?
I think they're still out there!
You had forgotten the absolutely massive lifespans of higher-blooded trolls.
Her impassive conservation has to pick and choose her battles, of course. And while we're all enamored with a good thriller, the point of the report wasn't theatrics and intrigue.
The point might not have been theatrics, or intrigue, but you're struck wordless by both of them. And then Aranea goes apologetic, as if finally coming back to her senses. You nip that in the bud as hastily as you can, with profuse and slightly excessive thanks. This info dump, even if it was born of your transparent deflection, turned out to be an illuminating experience for you. That's the kind of thing you want to be. A single engineer, unveiling the fate of their crew, an unassuming entry point into Earth itself. And she's so practiced at that. This is the kind of product Aranea just churns out with these tiny research threads, with the records of a single person. That's the skill that her report should get to showcase. You want to help her shine. This requires a little more research, you decide. And besides, you really want to see that gleam in Aranea's eyes again. So you ask her, playing up the curiosity in your voice, the question totally earnest. Gee, how'd you learn all that stuff about historiographiating? What is the purpose of a storyteller? You say like it's your own question, not one pulled from her mouth. If the story is the same with or without us. Aranea lights up.
To preserve it! Historiographiating, by the way. All kinds of people, every night, are out here doing things that matter. You and I are doing something that matters right now. But it's the chroniclers among us, those willing to document the moment and investigate the past, that lend it to weight. A historiographiate's heart is one that looks out at the world and sees legacies that deserve to last. The important part isn't this story to be told, of course. The most important part is that someone, thousands of someones, got us to where we are today. The architects of the past are usually regarded as less important than the architecture. But we'll always need someone to tell it. And I'm content with that being my legacy, not as the hero on the page, but as the humble researcher, like the foundation of the hive, unsing that story forward. Digging up the actual unknown or previously deemed unworthy protagonists and dusting them off. The rest of the universe may have forgotten our mechanical engineer, but we haven't. And thanks to our work behind the scenes, credit is given where it's due. We keep these things alive.
You take a pause. You let the importance of it fill your can-shaped chest. I'm ready, you tell Aranea. She proffers the tape recorder once more, and this time, even its rewinding squelch can't shake your conviction. Aranea clicks what you presume to be record. She has you state for the record your planet of origin one more time. She even describes you, briefly, your physical appearance.
Start with whatever you would like.
You begin, clearing your throat. It's difficult to qualify or quantify life on Earth. Every day seems to wallop you over the head slightly more than the last, and every friendship reminds you how much you have to learn slightly more than the last. And in that, it's not very different from Befriendus at all. It's not very different from any planet you visited. Alternia is a sidetrack / existential crisis for another day, You've chosen your battles. But as you reflect on your time under your home planet's blue sky, certain themes bring themselves forward. Universal, unshakable themes. The ones that make you, you in this story. And the first, you declare, is the Postal Service. The lifeblood of democracy. Aranea stops a question you hear, and you define democracy. The pinnacle of human achievement. Rain or shine, through hail and thunderstorms alike, from Sacramento to Cincinnati, the Postal Service can be relied upon to unite humankind. Discussion of the Postal Service brings you naturally into transportation. Hot rods and mom vans and how much dust they're able to kick up in the commercials. Your city/town/village/areas, level or lack of public transportation next, the latter of which is apparently a baffling problem to a Befriend. You talk about used car salesmen, the corgi craze, how 3D movies are better now that they aren't made to sell the idea that they would make a really good roller coaster. Fast fashion. Fashion, that's good, you can riff on that. Is this a multimedia presentation? Aranea tilts her head at you.
There's no rule against it.
You ask for materials to make props. The tape recorder is set neatly on the desk as the two of you get to work, fabric and cardboard spread out in front of you. Aranea makes lists and notes and graphs. You construct plush yellow scrunchies and cardboard Tims and those socks with the little marijuanas on them. Hydro flasks? Weren't there hydro flasks? Is that a human word, and not a troll one? You'd be goggling what month hydro flasks started to be a thing, and what month you had left Earth for this befriending adventure if any of this word's meant anything before. God, hydro flasks are like from Denver or some shit. Or maybe they're from Oregon. I think they're from Oregon, never mind. The hurricane grows, the fruits of your labor spread around you, and slowly, everything starts to feel...
What's wrong?
You know her eyes are on you, but you can't yet look back. Your eyes are cast out over the sea of props in front of you, your skin crawling under the recycled, poorly stitched yoga pants you've cut out of an old dress. This isn't Earth, is it? This isn't even the SparkNotes primer. But you don't understand. What happened to every single artifact opening up a world? What happened to every person being the final missing puzzle piece? Darn it all, you only had to be a believable everything for one more night. You couldn't even give Aranea that.
There's no need to lose hope over that. It must sound so banal to you, but it's this kind of esoterica that brings society into living color for those of us consigned to absorb it second or third hand. You're doing a good job. We're going for something authentic.
No, that's just it. These aren't authentic artifacts of you, are they? Maybe 2 of them are, or a handful. But for the most part, the scattered wreckage of your project around you doesn't look like you at all. It looks like a disaster, like a middle-aged non-parent trying to shop for a teenager. Like a disconnected writer trying to distill the most relatable reader experience into increasingly bite-sized portions, but the minute you try to nail it down, the further away from you it spirals. Earth is complicated and messy and broader than this, you try to explain. Hell, come to think of it, you're not even sure your beloved male is universal, let alone democracy. You were just so inspired after hearing Aranea's work, the tales she weaves together from little clues, an entire tidy narrative made out of one mechanical engineer, or 2 people sitting by a book hive. What does she know that you don't, right? What's that key she's got? How does she take one person and spin them into a perfect, efficient history? And the worst part is maybe it wasn't a surprise. Maybe you've been hating this, cringing at it a little, all along, just going through the motions because they're what's happening. Maybe what isn't relatable is this tech scroll right now. You're definitely feeling something, but whatever that something is, right now, sitting in Aranea's hive, you're not sure you're ready to try to voice it.
The good news is, it is sitting in Aranea's hive.
What? You say? She taps her temple. Right.
You don't need to lose faith in yourself. Actually, I was very close to filling out something of a full ethnography.
No. You say carefully but firmly. No, you'll need to find something else. Maybe it can't be as narratively complex as she was hoping for.
Sigh. It looks like this is a special case.
You deliver a gentle but knowing look.
It looks like how we might have uncovered something about how stories work, even if just yours. But we do still have a project.
You do?
I don't know. Does interrogating eyewitness alien narratives as an entry point for long-term study, a framework for investigation, sound like a project to you?
Wow, it's got a lot of words in it.
Not to praise us too highly, but we did spend the night wrangling with one of the oldest still unsolved dilemmas in the field of interplanetary relations. With labors of love, it's easy to get entangled in the product. And in that entanglement, forget what we love to begin with. Process. We aren't people who finish things, are we? We're not the doers.
Well, hang on, Aranea. This self-concept might be unreasonable. Sure, she's not the architect of history, she's the teller, but didn't you make something worth telling right now? If you're not mistaken, isn't the new shape of this project a retelling of this bit in her life? This search? That's got to mean hers is as worthy of telling. Which doesn't make her any less of a perfect historia gratiate. It might make her a better one, you suggest gently. After all, there's no use burning out here behind the scenes. A little self-honesty never hurt anybody.
Let's not dwell on the details, but I'm flattered. Now, as one anecdotal source, how would you try to define my interview tactics? Just to the best of your ability.
Oh my god. Oh, I love it.
Scrunchy.
Also, oh, this is good stuff.
That was cute.
Hmm.
Okay, so what was the other... There was no other... Well, there was a second bad end that
There's
had to
another
do with...
bad end, but I'm not sure how you get it.
There's a notebook that you have to find at some point. Napster
Oh,
chill redeemed
okay.
hydrate and posture check. Cracks my shitty little glow stick spine.
I'm assuming we're gonna go to Sigistuparum's route.
I guess
Or
so,
are we
yeah.
You could do that. Also, you could look into the journal. It all depends on which we should potentially do chronologically.
You
first.
gotta get the journal in Mina's route. Okay.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah. Speed.
I guess we are gonna speedrun that, huh? Okay. Fuck, how do I... Can I just fast forward through it and does that mean I get it, or...
You could. I'm just setting up my little Wi-Fi thing so I get a good connection. Go to the
Go to
options.
options, make you can skip unseen text.
Oh.
Okay. Hold on.
I don't remember.
Can I? Oh, okay. I'm gonna speedrun it too. What are the choices for Mina?
Oop, that was wrong.
What's the first choice? What's the first choice for Mina?
I got it. Fuck. I was...
Speed.
Bottom choice for both.
I got bad end too. Slammer made jail and you're extra angry at crimes. It's bottom choice for both of them, I think. Okay. I did stay put and keep an eye out first, I think.
Yeah.
Try the other one. Yeah, there's the moon. Okay. All right. Okay.
Hold on. I'm going to the same. I'm getting the same stuff, so I have mine synced up. No, I don't want to do that.
Okay, I got the good end. There's the journal, okay.
Yay. Oh yeah, there it is.
Alright, do I have to, like... Saw the journal icon so you're home free.
So do we have to go back to Aranea now?
Sorry. Maybe? I could just power through it since I already fucking...
Right.
did it. Gaming. Oh, wait.
Go to her first choice.
Oh, man. Sorry, I'm doing this. I'm trying to skip through her route, and she is displeased about it.
Oh my god!
That's what you're saying.
Game over! But you weren't listening, were you? Oh my god. I just got the bad end for that, by the way.
Me too. That was cute. Sorry I didn't read any of that. It was more funny to look at and speed through. Alright, okay, I guess we're gonna click through this very fast. Without clicking the...
Also, we've got the journal now. I have the journal now.
So quick. So quick.
Let's hit the town. History. Oh, wait. What's that? What's that? Oh, wait, that's you. Okay, alright. This is why we tell you use your save slots. Alright, but, like, I didn't know if it actually had something to do with, like, a variable I needed to have there from the beginning or not. Sorry. I have a degree in computer science, and all I learned was how to brute force shit. I didn't learn anything fancy. So, that's how I do things. Alright, okay, sorry. Janaya, you're up.
Okay, hold on.
What's that?
Oh shit, I gotta watch your stream because I am not synced up anymore.
Oh no,
Give me
okay.
a second. Yeah. Alright.
Alright,
I'm good. I just...
this time. Yeah. Okay.
What's that?
Aranea points to the huge, leathery tome in your arms. Scarpina's journal. The journal that's Scarpina's. Oh, this old thing? You say as if you would never have been tugging the spoils of your exploration around Mina's hive up your chest into her view on purpose. Wait, on second thought, how do you... Wait, what? Wait, on second thought, how do you have this? Just some old thing you carry around, you explain. Sorry, were you being obtrusive about it? Just shifting your grip. It was getting heavy. Hey, you note real casually. Isn't that kind of like Aranea's sign on the cover there? Wait, what the fuck? Sorry, there's a little bit of text that says... Gee, I wonder.
Where did you get this?
The narrative winds you neatly through answering that sticky question, because remember, and this is crucial, you've been winning. Oh yeah, Mina had someone send it to me in gratitude, you say? She thought it seemed like the kind of boring lore dump bonanza you might like. Someone must have dug it up while she was bossing people around to send up the rest of her stuff. You know, because she needs more stuff? Even if there had been, like, food in those hastily packaged suitcases, you still summarily destroyed the only pre-existing structure on the moon, at least as far as your eyes could see. She's sort of hiveless right now? You kind of expected Aranea to be more concerned about Mina's current standard of living, but you can only guess that zeroing in on the book overrode all other senses and she straight up didn't hear you. She's leafing through the journal very quickly, but in a way indicative of someone with a reverence for books. You make a mental note to never bend back spines or dog-ear pages in her vicinity. She stops to study one particular page, with her finger pressed down against one line and her eyebrows drawn together into a pout.
She's so bored. I don't understand. To have taken an archivist's oath and spend every night one's gifted behind one's desk, let alone out in the field, sitting around whining? To be gifted with a storyteller's thumb, a style and flourish to decorate the scene perfectly, and to decorate it with boredom. To be, due to our genetic gift, granted insights into a court case so controversial I've never heard of it, and resent it because it was jury duty.
Aranea flips back a few pages to get context. You wince and suggest that maybe she doesn't do that.
How utterly sick I am of being sentenced.
Oh boy, it must have been a prank. It must be a prank. Haha, Mina and her pranks. Aranea is on what appears to be one of those horrible troll phones, though her hand is clamped firmly around all of the wiggly parts, which you appreciate. She dials up someone she's got saved, and a glimpse of their contact's photo confirms to you who it might be. Your friend Mina. She's grinning fiercely here, and has her arm thrown around Aranea's shoulders, nearly lifting her off the ground. Okay, first of all, aww. No wait, this is bad. Oops.
Oopsie doo.
Lol.
Lol.
Well, that was fun.
That was fun.